In the wake of 2 tumultuous weeks in Washington, rumblings of a possible White House staff shakeup are at a fever pitch. But which warring faction will come out on top? I spoke Monday with award-winning documentary filmmaker Michael Kirk about his new film for the PBS series Frontline that profiles one top White House official. Our conversation started off with a clip from Bannon's War. Take a listen.
This was a Bannon speech, and it was in the president's hands, but it was a Bannon speech.
This American carnage stops right here and stops right now.
The line about carnage in America, I think that was Steve. You know, there were like every now and then I hear things like, oh, that's okay, that's Steve.
From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first. God bless America.
The speech was just the beginning.
Thank you. God bless America.
Bannon is in a kind of a kamikaze mission to just get as much done as he can because he knows people with ideas that are as powerful and controversial as his, may not last in Washington.
So, Michael, if Steve Bannon is on a, quote, kamikaze mission to change Washington, do you think he'll last much longer in this establishment job?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I think Bannon really, I've come to believe that Bannon really represents the base. Who he is who Trump's base is. They discovered it together. They built it together. They won election to the presidency together. And I think it's even through all the trials and tribulations that Bannon has faced in the last month or so, Bannon is still there, and he's there for one reason. He is Trump's connection to that populist base that got them elected.
So in light of that, then, does it seem like there could be a path for him to rejoin Breitbart or another media company if he ever did leave the administration?
Well, if he left, he'd leave with a lot of secrets, so they may not want him to leave under those circumstances. And it seems like he may have found a place inside this administration where he's still powerful. He can still access the most powerful populist president in a long, long time. And his ideas and Trump's ideas mesh at a certain level, especially around chaos and disruption and fight, fight, fight. That headline you saw in the paper last week from the Coast Guard Academy after the Comey stuff was really pure Bannon, what we call in the film a Steve Bannon production. Trump saying fight, fight, fight. That is absolutely what these two guys share in common.
Well, for being such an outspoken figure, we hardly ever hear Steve Bannon speak. And I want to play the part of your film where we do hear from him in a video from a Vatican conference years before he joined the Trump campaign.
He comes onto the screen, he's via Skype, it's this grainy video image, and he gives this speech where he talks about how Islam is a threat to Judeo-Christian civilization.
I believe the world, and particularly the Judeo-Christian West, is in a crisis.
The threat that Bannon sees post 9/11 to the Judeo-Christian West is that radical Islamic theology is metastasizing into more mainstream Islamic communities.
We're at the very beginning stages of a very brutal and bloody conflict. We are in an outright war against jihadist Islamic fascism. And this war is I think, metastasizing almost far quicker than governments can handle it.
So, Michael, this is such interesting context to me because Bannon, of course, traveled with the president to Saudi Arabia this weekend, and the president's speech there did not seem to share the same tone of Steve Bannon's worldview. I'm wondering if anyone you spoke to seemed to signal that A, either Steve Bannon's views have changed, or that B, his influence in the White House might be waning.
I think in the Shakespearean drama that's occurring behind the scenes and all the fireworks and sparklers that we all see from the outside, back in there where we went, the Shakespearean drama has Bannon and Jared Kushner and others. They're trying to tug Trump to the center. Bannon is waiting there representing the base. I think his beliefs continue to be his beliefs, and they also continue, I think, to be in the president's ears. This is a very interesting time right now because a lot of what was said there, if you go back and you look closely at the speech, there are very tough phrases in there. Many of them reminders of what was said during the campaign. So I think you want to watch and wait a little while to see just how benign what was actually being said was, and where Bannon and the Kushner argument basically settle in the next few months.
Yeah, that's been an interesting dynamic so far. Now, before joining the Trump team in Breitbart, Steve Bannon produced his own films, and I'm wondering, as a filmmaker, did looking at the films that he made give you more insight into who Steve Bannon is and how he thinks?
Well, the thing to remember when you watch those films at the beginning of our film is that his role models were Michael Moore and Leni Riefenstahl. In other words, he wanted to be the Michael Moore of the right, and he wanted to be the Leni Riefenstahl of, in those days, the George W. Bush administration. They're not subtle, they're not easy watching, but they are filled with images that fill out the ideology of a man who stands very close to the President of the United States at this time and for the next, for as long as he manages to hold on there.
It is a fascinating portrait of a certainly fascinating figure in American politics today. Bannon's War premieres on your local PBS station and online on Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Michael Kirk, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Real pleasure.